What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So, if you've seen my Social Security, SSI, SSDI, VA, veterans, and video here a few days ago, that there would be a announcement coming out here today for Social Security and everybody underneath the Social Security umbrella. Yeah, you can see here Social Security COLA 2024 prediction rises with the latest CPI report inflation data coming out here today. We have got the latest data here today announced as inflation data is actually rising here. As you can see here, directly from the Social Security website, directly from the government. The Social Security COLA, known as the cost of living adjustments, you can see here per year vary greatly. In fact, remember, some years were actually zero. Not that long ago, as recently as 2015, there was actually a 0% adjustment. And remember here that last year, the 2022 COLA adjustment, which went into effect for 2023, was 8.7%. That was the fourth highest COLA or cost of living adjustment raise ever. The only three larger raises were 1981, 1980, and 1979. That raise was 8.7%, the fourth highest ever. Also, remember here, the Medicare costs actually went down. That's right. The standard Medicare premium for Medicare Part B enrollees was $164.90, which was actually a decrease of $5.20 from $170.10 from 2022, which was an absolute shock to get a raise of 8.7%, the fourth largest ever, and a decrease for Medicare Part B. I won't hold my breath to see something like that happen ever again. In fact, I think that was the only time to see a decrease and a massive raise like that, which was shocking. So look at this new inflation data we just got in, and I'll tell you how that will rely on how your Social Security increase will come in. Take a listen here.
I'm going to get to Rick Santelli standing by at the CME in Chicago with the main event. Rick, the numbers, please.
Yes, the main event, the Consumer Price Index for the month of August. Headline expected up an aggressive 0.6, and the economist and analyst delivered up 0.6. Up 0.6. The last time we had up 0.6 on a month over month was going way back. You have to go all the way back to February of 2022 to find a bigger number. When it was up 0.7, actually in March it was up as well. So now if we consider that the high water mark here in 2005 was up 1.2, yes, we've made progress, but this follows up 0.2%. Strip out food and energy, up 0.3%. Year over year, up 3.7%. That is hotter than expected, hotter than the rearview mirror, and 3.7, the last time we were anywhere near there was up 4% in May. And if we look at year over year core, which in my opinion is probably the most important, 4.3%. Now this is interesting. It's down from 4.7, exactly as expected at 4.3, but once again, let's go through the litany here, okay? We haven't been below 4% in this metric going all the way back to May of 2021. Last year, over half were above 5%, so this is still quite sticky. What has the market done? We've gone from a 431 yield in 10s to a 433 yield. So at 433, we're up a handful on the session. You can see that two-year note yields have moved up to 507, 508. Currently, the high yield close there is 508. These are very important technical levels. And if we consider the pre-opening equities have gone from, as Joe pointed out, down 12, 13, 14 in Dow futures to down 75. Now, if we consider the year-over-year numbers, the 3.7 especially is something to pay close attention to. And, of course, that includes food and energy. But no matter how you slice it, whether you separate those out or not, the Fed committee is certainly not in sync with most Americans or even other economies that don't separate those out, especially at a time where the transition, as ugly as it may get with regard to EV, is one of these sticking points that could keep not only energy and electricity costs higher, but all the cottage industries associated with the transitioning and the auto industry.
So remember here that the COLA raise, cost of living adjustment, and Social Security raise for everybody underneath the Social Security umbrella, SSI, SSDI, VA, RRB, everybody, survivors, everybody underneath the Social Security umbrella, goes off the CPIW. Is the urban wage index for the, it's just, it's a CPIW. It goes off the third quarter, which is July, August, and September. And we just got the August numbers in. We're in early September. We get the August numbers in. Take a look here. So remember here that this new inflation number actually went up because this month went up here in inflation, actually. The forecast for next year's Social Security increase rose to 3.2%. From 3% on Wednesday after the government said inflation ticked up in August. Annual inflation in August rose to 3.7% from 3.2% in July, but off a 40-year high of 9.1% in June of 2020. Without the volatile food and energy sectors, the so-called core inflation rose to 4.3%, down from 4.7%. I don't know why they're not including food and energy. We have to pay for food and energy, right? It's ridiculous. And I mean, look at this. Energy declined 3.6% over year. Food rose 4.3%, compared with a 12.5% drop, 4.9% increase. I'm trying to even make sense of all this stuff. It's ridiculous, right? Shelter jumped 7.3% over the last 12 months, but it was still softer than July's 7.7% gain. I mean, these numbers are outrageous, right? Lower inflation is welcome, I guess, compared to last year's 8.7%. But the harsh reality is that the amount of the COLA's increase is in most years is meager at best, said Mary Johnson, Social Security and Medicare policy analyst at the Senior Citizens League. Ain't that right? Seniors haven't kept up and inflation has made it worse. Annual COLAs are meant to ensure Social Security beneficiaries' purchasing power isn't eroded by inflation. Doesn't seem that way, right? However, COLA hasn't kept pace, and seniors were the only group that saw its share of poverty increase between 2020 and 2021, the Census Bureau said. On Tuesday, the Census Bureau also reported the older adult poverty rate jumped to 14.1% in 2022 from 9.5% to 10.7% in 2021. This was during the pandemic, but nonetheless, after accounting for government cash and non-cash benefits, geography, taxes, and necessary expenses. Social Security only replaces roughly 1/3 of middle earners' average wages, according to the actuary note from the Social Security Office and Chief Actuary. Making matters worse, 59% of older adults start Social Security benefits before receiving full retirement age and receiving permanently reduced benefits, according to a poll of 2,259 retired surveys this month by the Senior Citizens League. Quote, inflation was so severe in 2021 and 2022 that the average Social Security benefit fell behind by $1,054, leaving 53% of retirees doubting they will recover because household costs rose more than the dollar amount of their COLAs. Wow. You know, and honestly, the thing that comes to mind here is, you know, Senator Bernie Sanders, who wanted to raise Social Security's benefits by $2,400 and extend the solvency for 75 years. It would tax the very high income earners $400,000 a year by making them pay Social Security taxes on their high income earnings. And it would extend the solvency by 75 years. But can't get it passed. Can't get it passed. And this would give an extra $200 a month to everybody on Social Securities, which $2,400 a year, you might think that's a lot. You might think that's not a lot. And maybe even more importantly, or not more importantly, which again, you might think this is more important, you might think this is more important, but it would do both. It would extend the solvency by 75 years to Social Security. And believe it or not, the Social Security accountants went and actually did the math on this and said they verified it and said, yes, that is the case. The independent accountants, the CBO basically for the Social Security said, yes, that is the case. And the problem is that they can't get basically the Republicans to sign off and vote for it. Yeah, so it's a tough situation. It's a tough situation because you need Republicans and Democrats to pass anything in Congress. And I mean, this is a potential fix for Social Security because it would extend the solvency for 75 years. Now, it would be unfair to high income earners making it depends on if they went to the $250,000 income threshold, which, you know, with inflation, that would in a short term, that would start to hit high middle income earners, because, you know, inflation. I mean, remember that we've seen, and I'll show you here. I mean, UPS drivers are starting to earn, uh, you know, with benefits up to $170,000 a year here soon. So believe it or not, I mean, that's, you know, that amount is starting to not be that much at some point here in the near future. And if they didn't adjust that for inflation, which the bills aren't adjusted for inflation, um, you know, that would start to hit high middle income earners, just exactly like the Social Security taxes are starting to hit low income earners now. You know, about 50% of Americans are starting to pay taxes on Social Security because those did not adjust for inflation. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Because the income thresholds for Social Security that they set years and years ago, they don't adjust for inflation. So more and more people, as Social Security gets those cost of living adjustments every year, more and more people are getting hit by income tax on Social Security. It's a common misconception that there's no taxes on Social Security. That is not the case, and more people are starting to they're getting hit by income thresholds on Social Security, especially as the COLA raises, the cost of living adjustment raises hit. And Congress doesn't want to change that because remember, Social Security is running out of money. Little by little or lot by lot every year, it's going to run out of money in an estimated 9 to 10 years. And the taxes that people pay on Social Security actually go back into the Social Security Trust Fund. So if they eliminate Social Security taxes, that would just make it run out of money quicker. See the problem here with stuff like that? Yeah, so I will keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. So if you appreciate this information, don't forget to hit the like button, share these videos so other people can hear this information. I don't pick sides. I just try to tell you guys the information here as it's coming out. And make sure to subscribe down below. Click the subscribe button. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day, 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Click here to see this new announcement that President Biden just made. Or you won't believe what Putin and North Korean President Kim Jong-un are doing right now. Click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.